Hey everybody, welcome back to another week of my picks. We are in the divisional round of the NFL playoffs. 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. Pretty excited about that. Had a great week last week, up a couple units. Year to date is up 3.99 units. Again, as I always tell you guys, follow me on Twitter. I had a tremendous Twitter weekend last weekend. Went 7 for 8 on my Twitter picks, 3 of 4 for my live game picks. We did very, very well if you were following me on Twitter. We won no matter what. But if you're following me on Twitter, we did really, really well. I had a couple of Mo Alley Cox props that both crushed it. We had, some in-game stuff. I did lose the one Pittsburgh in-game. I bet their money line when they were down 14-0. Because I really didn't think they were going to lose that game. But we ended up getting plus 18.5, which seemed at the time like free money, and it ended up being free money. So we'll take it, right? So as always, I do recommend following me on Twitter at CPT_handsome. That's CPT_handsome. That's Captain Handsome for obvious reasons. This week, there are some games that I like, including, I actually like 3 of the 4 games, to be entirely honest with you. The only one that I'm not crazy on is the New Orleans Tampa Bay game. I've got a feeling Tampa's going to win that. It's really hard to beat a team 3 times. The only play I have on this is a teaser that I'll tell you about at the end. But I feel like if New Orleans wins, they probably win by like a touchdown, and it's like, they're probably up like 13 or 14 points, and Tampa scores late to make it closer than it should be. But I think if New Orleans wins, they'll be in control for most of the game. Whereas if Tampa wins, I think it's going to be a super tight nail biter. So I'm certainly hoping for New Orleans to win, because everybody knows I don't like Tampa. I've never really liked them. I liked when Fitz played for them because I've always liked Fitz. Even when he was a Buffalo Bill, I liked him, and I hate the Bills. But I hate Tom Brady. That's not a secret. I think he's great. Wonderful quarterback. Not the best of all time, but very good. Top 5 quarterback all time for sure. But I think he's overrated, and I'm tired of hearing about him. And if he wins another Super Bowl, I'm going to have to hear about him a lot more. So I really hope that they lose this week. As far as my plays go, I do like Buffalo tonight. I got them at -2. I loved -2. They're at 2.5 now. They're still not at the hook. I'm still comfortable laying a unit. Buffalo -2.5. If it goes to 3, I would probably hold off, because I think that it's going to be pretty tight. But at the current number, -2.5, I like it. I think Humphrey's going to have a tougher time with Stephon Diggs than we think. I think that last week the Bills showed that the Josh Allen who didn't run much in the regular season, that was essentially to protect their number 1 asset, and that he will run when he needs to. I think that if he can, bust out a couple of, 20-yard runs or 15 to 20-yard runs in this game, it will force Baltimore to pay a lot more attention to him and create some open avenues for Cole Beasley, for Dawson Knox, and for my favorite player on their team, and the only guy that I really like, Gabriel Davis. Everybody knows I have an awkward man crush on Gabe Davis. Even though he plays for the Buffalo Bills, I have him in every one of my dynasty leagues. I have a lot of money invested in his rookie cards, and I've got a bunch of autograph cards of his and stuff. I am a big Gabe Davis fan. I think he's going to be a very good player, and I think that if Allen's able to bust a couple of runs early, it should open up some space for them. I think they're going to have to double Diggs. I know that they're probably just going to put Humphrey on him, but I think he's probably going to show that he is playing the best football he's ever played in his life right now. And with a quarterback who can whiz it in there, I think he's probably going to get a couple of early catches. They're going to have to try to double him or something like that, and that's probably going to be just going to create so many openings for so many other players. So I do like the Bills -2.5. I obviously will be cheering for the Ravens. I hope I'm wrong about this pick. I really do. But I think the Bills are probably going to win this one, and not comfortably, but I think they'll probably win it by 6-7 points. And the next one is the Green Bay game. I really like Green Bay -6.5. I think that the Rams they're a beat up team. They have some injuries. They have some guys who are playing obviously pretty banged up. And I think it's just going to be really hard to compete with Aaron Rodgers, They'll have had a week to heal up. They're going to be as comfortable as they can be. They're going to, they're playing in their, home stadium where they have a tremendous home field advantage. Most people think it's probably the only real home field advantage in the league this season. So I think it's going to be really tough for the Rams to keep up. Their defense is the Packers defense has been playing really, really well. And y'all know what I think of Jared Goff. I think he's an absolute tire fire. And I think this will be the opportunity for him to maybe make some mistakes. And I think that Green Bay probably wins this one pretty comfortably. It's too bad. There's a bunch of guys on the Rams are really, really... I'm a huge Cam Akers guy. He's another guy, but I have a ton of his rookie cards and stuff like that. I'm a big Cam Akers fan. I've got a really nice autographed RPA card, they call it. If you're not a card guy, you don't know what that means. But I really like Cam Akers a lot. And obviously, people know I have a monster man crush on Cooper Kupp, the absolute undisputed number one wide receiver on that team. Some people think it's Robert Woods, but he's closer to a number 3 wide receiver. He's basically, they need a gadget, they'll throw him in there. He's like Cordero Patterson, he's not really in the game plan, but they'll use him if they need him. Right, Mike? So yeah, I like Green Bay minus 6.5 a lot. I've got that for 2 units. That's probably one of my favorite plays of the week. I also am betting on the Brownies plus 10. I think that their run game, which is not a defensive strength for the Kansas City Chiefs, will be a problem for the Chiefs. I am not unrealistic. I do not think that the Browns are going to win the game, but I certainly think that this could be one of those games where the Browns go up, I don't know, 21-6 or 21-13 or something like that, or 21-10 into the third quarter, and everyone's like, oh my God, are the Browns going to upset? Are the Browns going to upset? And then obviously Patrick Mahomes turns it on like he does when he wants to and ends up, winning the game by 7 points or something like that, or 6 points. I just think 10's a big number to cover. So I think that the way that Cleveland can run the ball might take some time off the clock. Cleveland scored 28 points the first quarter last week. That's pretty crazy. I'm wearing the Juice jersey again because I brought him luck last week, and I will always cheer for Jarvis Landry, no matter what a Neanderthal I think Baker Mayfield is. I think that guy's an absolute clown. I think he's a terrible quarterback. The only thing he's good at is play action. If you know what I mean? If they don't run play action, his numbers are terrible because he's not very good. But when you have that kind of a running game and you can set up play action with those guys, yeah, of course. Anybody's going to look good. Jared Goff would look good in that, with those running backs. So, and Jared Goff has looked good with a great play action system in the past. So that shows you that bad quarterbacks can look good if the system's set up properly for them. So, I think, I don't think there's any chance Kansas City loses the game. But it'd be pretty sweet to see, my boy Jarvis get a chance to, play to go to the Super Bowl next week. That would be very, very cool. I do like Cleveland plus 10. I'm playing that for 2 units as well. I like that a lot. So that's my third play. And lastly, I have a 7-point teaser. This is for 2.5 units. I have Tampa teased up to 10, and I have Green Bay at plus 0.5 because they're minus 6.5. It's a 7-point teaser. For all the reasons I said before, I think it's going to be really tough for New Orleans to beat Tampa a third time. I've got a really bad feeling. I feel like Tampa's going to win this outright. I have a couple units on Tampa money line. That's not a recommended play. But I have a couple units on the Tampa Bay money line because I really feel like they're going to win this game, and I hope I'm wrong. I really hope I'm wrong. I just think that Drew Brees has not looked great, and I hate to say it, but Tom Brady's obviously looked better than Brees. Neither of them have been top 10 quarterbacks this year, but Brady is definitely considerably better than Brees. So I think Tampa Bay is probably going to win the game. So getting 10 points is pretty easy for me. For all the reasons I said before, I think Green Bay is going to handle the Rams pretty easily. So if you're going to say that if they win, I cover on that teaser, then of course I'm going to take that. So that's for 2.5 units. I'll go over my plays again. Buffalo minus 2.5 for 1. Green Bay minus 6.5 for 2. Cleveland plus 10 for 2. And a 7-point teaser with Tampa getting 10 and Green Bay getting half a point. Before I leave, I want to address something. I've been getting constant mentions on my Twitter, emails, messages on Facebook like crazy about my boy Tua. He's not going anywhere. It is asinine that you people will believe this. Last year, everybody was saying, oh, the Dolphins are trading up to get Joe Burrow. The Dolphins are trading down because they don't like Tua. I heard it ad nauseum. And my argument was the same the whole way. They like him. They're going to draft him. He's going to be our quarterback. And he was. Brian Flores has come out. Brian Flores is not a guy who plays games. Brian Flores has come out and said Tua's our quarterback. I don't care that Deshaun Watson wants to come to Miami. Do you think it's realistic to give up 3 first-round picks and a quarterback who you don't even know who he is yet for Deshaun Watson? I love Deshaun Watson. The guy's amazing. And yeah, I think that he makes the Dolphins a much, much better team. But then they still don't really have any real weapons. I love Devontae Parker, but he's a number 2 on any team. I love Myles Gaskin, but he's not a starting running back on a team that's going to win a Super Bowl. So you can either have Tua and Devontae Smith and Najee Harris or one of those, you know what I mean? I secretly want them to get Chuba Hubbard in the second round because I love who he is as a human being. I know he had a bad year, but I certainly wouldn't hate that. There's a bunch of guys they could go after. I mean, there's a bunch of options there. But yeah, cancel all that shenanigans. Tua's not going anywhere. Tua will be the starting Miami Dolphins quarterback next year. Deshaun Watson might go somewhere. He might be unhappy there, but the Dolphins aren't going to hammer their cap because then you also remember they'll have to get rid of Xavier Howard as well. So are you going to give up Tua, 3 first-round picks, and Xavier Howard for Deshaun Watson? I mean, I don't think that's, especially when one of those picks is the number 3 overall pick. It's insane. And you're going to still screw your cap because Deshaun Watson makes $40 million a year. So I love Deshaun Watson. I think Deshaun Watson is the 3rd best quarterback in the NFL right now. But I still wouldn't do that, and the Dolphins will not do that either. They're going to trust the process. They have 1 billion draft picks. They're going to be able to fill out what is already a very good team with some skill players. They're going to be able to draft the number 1 wide receiver, draft the number 1 running back. They got rid of their offensive coordinator who's stuck in 1942 and doesn't believe rookie quarterbacks can do anything and didn't give Tua the opportunity to do anything. And he's going to ball out next year. So for everybody who's smack talking me and stuff like that, fill your boots. It does not concern me at all. Tua will be the Dolphins' number 1 quarterback next year. Deshaun Watson, I think he's going to stay in Houston because his contract's, I think it's too tough to trade. But who knows? Maybe somebody figures out a way. Maybe the Patriots just ignore the cap and the league lets them because they've been cheating for years. And he goes to New England, and then I hate my life because I was like, well, maybe I would have taken that trade now if it kept him out of New England. Anyways, guys, Tua's not going anywhere. Have a great weekend. I hope your picks are good. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at CPT_handsome, where the real magic happens. And again, as I always say, guys, make sure you're being smart, being safe. Don't gamble more than you can. I've said it before. I'm going to put out a podcast on how I budget my money for the year, how I set up my units and things like that, because a lot of people don't understand that. They just assume every unit is $100 or something like that, or $10 or whatever. But a unit isn't a standard money amount. You set your own unit, and that's how you work it. And that's what kind of keeps it even between the big players and the small players as far as unit counts go. So I will do something like that. Make sure you're smart. Don't ever blow your wad on anything silly. And guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it as always. Have a great day.